Imagine waking up in the morning and realizing you have no arms and legs. Even a simple action such as opening a door becomes almost impossible. But this is the reality in which our hero, Nick Vujicic, lives. And against all odds, he manages to hug his family, drive a boat, and speak in front of thousands of people. How does he do it? How did he, having no arms and legs, manage to find complete freedom? We'll learn the answer to these questions and more as we follow Nick's journey from his early days to the stunning successes he has achieved. Watch the video to the end. It's going to be very interesting. On our channel, we talk about unique people who have accomplished incredible things. So subscribe to learn new motivational stories. Nick is an amazing example of a person being able to overcome the most seemingly insurmountable barriers. He speaks in front of audiences of thousands, writes books, travels the world, surfs, scuba dives, and hugs his loved ones. But how was all of this made possible? If early in Nick's life, all the doctors were convinced he has almost no future, he will not be able to lead an independent life. Today, millions of people admire him and set him as an example. What's the secret? How did he go from despair to worldwide recognition? Nick Vujicic was born on December 4, 1982 in Melbourne, Australia, to Serbian immigrant parents. He was diagnosed with tetramelia, a rare congenital malformation in which limbs are missing. It came as a real shock to his parents. They were people of faith and hoped for a healthy baby, like most expectant moms and dads, but they saw a baby without arms and legs. The mother was distraught and could not even take him in her arms in the first minutes after the birth. The psychological trauma was so strong. However, after a few days, the parents felt a deep love for their son and were determined to raise him as independent and free as possible. They did not want Nicholas, his full name, to be treated only as a sick person. From childhood, his mother did everything to make sure that he learned ordinary things: eating, sitting, using any devices on his own, even brushing his teeth. It was a real challenge. Nick grew up a very curious boy and was constantly trying to understand why the world worked the way it did. He was given a special mechanical device that allowed him to grasp things a little, but there were still so many obstacles around. His parents insisted that he attend a regular school with the healthy kids. On one level, this helped him to become stronger morally, because he had to constantly prove that he was not a stranger in the group. But on another level, it was hard. Kids often looked at him with surprise, and some openly mocked him. At the age of 8 or 9, Nick began to realize how he was different from the others. He had to watch his classmates play soccer, run around the playground, and calmly open their textbooks. He knew that even turning a page in a notebook was not easy for him. It was then that a powerful sense of loneliness formed. Little Nick felt left out, different, and believed he had no future. Things went so far that Nick decided at one point that it wasn't worth it for him to live. At the age of 10, he tried to drown himself in the bathtub. This incident is described in his autobiographical book. He was sure that this was the only way he could free his parents and himself from suffering. But something made him stop. According to him, it was the thought, "I didn't try everything, and didn't give myself a chance to find out what I was really capable of." After the event, a serious conversation took place within the family. His parents, who were already trying their best to support their son, began to pay even more attention to his emotional state. They impressed upon him that every person has a purpose. He heard these words not only from them, but also in the local church where the family went regularly. Gradually, an idea popped into Nick's head. What if my specialness could actually serve a good cause? As a teenager, Nick began giving his first small group talks in a church setting. He talked about his feelings, doubts, and discoveries. He himself marveled at how his words reflected in the eyes of his listeners. People confessed that they began to look at their own problems in a different way. If Nick, without arms and legs, finds the strength to go on, so can any other person. After graduating from high school, Nick went to university, where he majored in accounting and financial planning. He deliberately chose this specialization. He wanted to be useful, wanted to have a profession that would allow him to earn independently. But at the same time, another idea was maturing inside him. to share his story with a wider audience. Soon, he started traveling around Australia giving lectures, and then invitations started coming from other countries. Thus was born the world-renowned motivational speaker he is today. Over time, Nick founded a nonprofit organization. The goal is to help people facing difficult life circumstances. These are not only physical limitations, but also emotional trauma, chronic illness, poverty, and psychological crises. Nick always emphasizes that his main goal is to give hope. The financial side is also important, but for him, the priority is to change people's attitude towards themselves. Later, he created a motivational company called Attitude is Altitude. Through this structure, Nick has continued to inspire people around the world by speaking at large events. His audiences range from school children and students to businessmen and politicians. He has even been invited to speak in front of heads of state. He also appeared in a short film that was widely recognized at film festivals. There, he played a man without limbs who found inner strength under the guidance of a wise circus manager. The breakthrough for many people was the realization that Nick was able to build personal happiness. He met his future wife in 2008. They met at one of his performances. In 2012, the couple got married. Now they have several children. Nick said that he dreamed of becoming a father of at least 2, and the family lives a busy life. Photos of Nick hugging his children with his little offspring or playing with them on the beach always cause a storm of emotion on social media. For people, it's a powerful reminder that the usual picture of the world can be completely different when you have no arms and legs, but you don't despair, but find ways to give love and warmth to loved ones. We can't fail to mention that Nick has learned how to do a lot of things that seem impossible. For example, he has learned to type on a computer by holding a special pen between a toe on his foot and a small growth on his torso. He swims, dives in the water, goes on a motorboat, and has even stood up on a surfboard. This has become one of the most striking symbols of his unbroken spirit. The waves of the ocean are comparable to the hardships of life, but he rides out the wave and glides through it with a smile. Today, Nick Vujicic is one of the most sought-after motivational speakers. His story has gone viral on social media, on television shows, and has been written about in newspapers and magazines around the world. He has traveled to over 60 or even 70 countries, spoken in front of audiences of thousands, and continues to be active. People who have been fortunate enough to interact with him personally speak of the tremendous support they have received. He is often approached by parents of children with disabilities to find the right words for their son or daughter. Healthy people, too, often experience a reset after meeting him. They begin to compare their problems with Nick's and see that a lot in life depends on how you react to circumstances. Nick never tires of repeating, "Even if you don't have arms and legs, you can find your happiness and achieve your goals." He encourages not only to believe in yourself, but also to learn to appreciate each day. His speeches are imbued with positivity and realism at the same time. He doesn't hide the fact that he can be difficult at times, that he is tired and stressed, but believes that life is too amazing to give up. Most importantly, Nick's story doesn't end. He continues to evolve, speaking, writing books, live and online conferences. His views and thoughts evolve along with his life experiences. He is no longer the boy who wanted to drown himself in the bathtub. Now he is a husband, a father, a social activist, an inspiration to millions of people. In the finale, I would like to emphasize the main idea. Nick Vujicic has proved that physical limitations do not determine the value of a person. A person without arms and legs is able to embrace his family with his heart, build a career, get an education, and help others. When you think about it, you realize that most of our fears and limitations are in our heads. Nick's story is a call to action, to not give up in the face of challenges, no matter how big they may seem. That's why his life is able to instantly grab your attention and hold it until the last minute. We cannot foresee all the problems that await us in the future, but we can learn to treat them the way Nick learned to. Overcome fear, love yourself, move forward, and remember that any limitations are just challenges we can accept and surpass. What do you think of this man? Share in the comments, tell us your opinion, it will be interesting. And now I highly recommend you to watch another video on my channel where I talk about a blind man who climbed Everest, the highest mountain in the world. It's an amazing story that will leave a lasting impression. The link to the video just popped up on your screen. Be sure to check it out. And if you like this video, then put a like and subscribe to our channel. And we'll see you on the video about the blind climber on Everest.